Welcome to Church Jams Now, the podcast where three former youth group kids and current music nerds deep dive into Christian music from the 90s and 2000s. I, of course, am your co-host, Kyle Savage, and with me, as always, is what? Excuse me, Mr. TJ Smith is not here. Instead, we have a guest co-host, my good buddy, Mr. Joe Cutler.
Hey,
I said that like you're not anybody else's buddy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Very
that
possessive
felt,
of you.
That felt rude and possessive. Yeah.
To be honest, listening to you, I was like, it could be any of us. What do you say? Like, I don't know why. I was like, oh, me. Okay.
And
yes.
we have our
Hello.
beautiful producer, Josh Olson.
Hey guys. Hey Joe, who's also my good buddy.
But guys, shut up. We have a guest. Hush. Shh.
Okay.
We have a guest. Shh. Guys, we have Zach Jordan on this week.
Heyo.
How's it going?
Woo!
It's going good. Long time listener, first time caller. Glad to be here.
Heck yeah. I was going to ask, who the heck are you?
I am Josh's cousin, lifelong friend of him. And
That's good. I'm not lifelong friends with my cousins, so, that's actually quite a feat.
Oh, man.
It is. And to give a little background, I guess, on Zach is I didn't have many musical allies when I started getting into my own music in high school and stuff like that. No one was listening to the stuff I was listening to, except Zach was one of the few people in my life that I was like, oh, hey, I could talk about Prada and Under Oath with and whatnot. So we go way back with
Wait.
obviously live and
do you
life
mean
in
The
history.
Devil Wears Prada, the band? Because you just said Prada.
Oh,
Like the fashion line.
We talked about
I just
the
imagine
fashion
you
line
guys
before
talking about
we
fashion
knew.
and
That's
metal.
about music.
yeah, it actually we discovered the band through the fashion line,
we were trying to find purses, and then this
Right.
band popped up.
and we're like, "This is odd. Let's check it out."
I was just
So
trying to
funny.
find the movie. That's what the hell I found.
That's too funny. Well, Zach, welcome to the show, man.
Yeah, I appreciate being here.
Guys, we're doing this is this is gonna be just like our Southern metal episode, right?
Woo!
Like
Oh yeah,
we're some big Southern metal fans here. Yeah, this week we are talking about, of course, Del Sur, the greatest Maylene cover band.
I knew
in
it was
Texas.
inevitably gonna be about Del Sur.
Yes.
No, we're not talking about Del Sur. I mean, we are. Trust me, we're gonna go off on a big old Del Sur tangent. But what are we talking about this week, guys?
Well, Zach brought us the album, I guess self-titled, "Maylene and the Sons of Disaster" by Maylene and the Sons of Disaster.
Heck yeah.
Yes.
And we're all looking at a picture
Dude.
of them right now, right?
Yes, this is
It's not
definitely.
us, for sure.
Look at these little babies.
This will translate
I love
really
it.
well.
It's
okay.
awesome. It's so good.
So, okay, for context for anyone that doesn't know, I mean, I feel like if anyone's listened to any of our show, they will probably know. But for people that don't, right around 2011 is when we started.
2010, 2011.
Yeah. Josh, Joe, and I were in a Southern metal band called Del Sur. It was a band that Josh started, and I was originally the guitarist for the band. And then
That's
we
right.
found some other guys and found a guitarist that was way better than me. And I was like, I want to play drums. And so I moved on to play drums. And Joe was always like, I want to be in a band. And so we...
Yeah, Joe's like, I want to sing for the band. We're like, cool. Have you ever sung before? He's like, no. We're like, okay, cool. Go for it, man.
Perfect.
Well, and then the same thing, like David, our
I'm just like,
bassist,
sure, why not?
David was a drummer, and he was like, I always wanted to play bass. And so we all just kind of like shifted around, except for Caleb Rains, who is just a ridiculous guitarist.
He was
Yeah.
where he needed to be.
He just devoted his life to playing sweet licks, and he was
Yeah.
like, that's the only thing I know to do.
If you're being honest, in a Southern metal band, the only thing that needs to be there is consistent guitar. Everything else you can piece together.
That's very true.
Daggum right.
I was really bad. I was a really bad drummer. But
We were all pretty bad,
Hey,
except for Caleb.
exactly. We were all really
got
bad
into it for
but-
some reason.
But we ended up, and then we tricked Kellen McGregor from Memphis Mayfire to produce our EP and
is
make us
true.
sound
Yes.
1,000 times better than we actually did.
And he would lovingly refer to us as a Maylene cover band, which
Oh,
is why it's
100%,
pretty
100%.
perfect that
Hey,
all
I
three
don't
of us are
remember
here for
Maylene
this.
having stage lights that lit up when you stood on
Yeah,
them.
dude, our
So-
stomp boxes.
Yeah, we stole it from someone else. I can't remember who.
Dude, it was some YouTube video, and we were like, dude, you just get a doorbell switch.
Right.
You can do it. I
Well,
think the
then
first
I
time we
did-
did that.
In my drums, I just took like work lights
yeah.
and just I took the bottoms
Christmas
of the toms
tree-
off, a Christmas tree light switcher, just had flood lamps inside my drums. They sounded like shit, but it didn't matter at all the venues
It
we were
looks
playing.
sweet, though.
It looked
Yeah.
really cool, and you got just the attack on those toms, which was all you needed. And so I'd hit it with my foot, and it would like light up. Man, that was so, we used to be so cool. What happened?
Yeah, dude. Dude, who knows, man?
Who knows?
Just got tired.
Josh, before you got on, the three of us were on. We were talking, and Zach, is a tried and true Del Sur fan.
Oh yeah.
And he was so excited. And, I qualified it as the few, the proud, the half dozen. He's part of a very elite group.
Yes, the few, the proud, and Caleb's mom. That's essentially what it was. Mama Raines was always there. Even if there was like 5 people, she was like, I just don't know why you guys gotta scream so much. But you guys do it. I just think it's so cool.
But yeah, man. Okay, so all of this to say, we flippin' love Maylene, right?
Yeah.
We made a band because of how much we love Maylene.
Yeah. Okay. So, I want to get into. So, should we jump over to research like who is Maylene first, and then we can kind of we can probably we'll inexplicably dip back into some Del Sur tangents, but
Yeah, for sure. I feel like we didn't do our whole backstory on Zach, like what qualifies you to.
That's
be on
true.
the show,
Yeah,
Zach.
yeah, Zach. Let's talk about you for a little bit. Let's sorry,
This
Josh
how
is
it's gonna
late
be.
today, so me, Zach, and Joe have already just been hanging out, and
Yeah.
we know his parenting strategy at sporting events with his children. We know which of his kids recently saw Jurassic Park. Josh, we arguably are closer than you guys are at this point.
It might
Yeah,
be.
dude.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Zach. So, whenever we have guests on, I do like to ask, what is your experience growing up with like Christian music from the 90s and 2000s?
Yeah, so I grew up, I would say, kind of raised in the Baptist style. So what that meant, my radio was allowed to play was either the local country station or 94.9 KLTY. That was really it. My dad didn't grow up in that same viewpoint, but adopted it, and he still kept some of his old records of Red Hot Chili Peppers, AC/DC, David Bowie. And so anytime my mom wasn't in the car, we were listening to those. And so then Josh enters, trying to get other people to like his music. And he's like, Zach, you got to try these other bands. And I'm like, my mom can't tell me no to these bands. They're Christian. And
Josh,
so-
were you the bad cousin? Were you the bad influence cousin?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess yes and no, but his dad was like, I remember we listened to TFK, and your dad was like, "Yeah, I like this song. It's good." Like, he was into
my
it with us.
dad was all about 1,000-Foot Crutch.
Oh yeah,
Dude.
but yeah, so I grew up listening to that, and of course, being the counterculture self that I am, I had to adopt the Devil Wears Prada, Norma Jean. Under Oath is probably my favorite, and Matt's side was right there. The moment I heard that Under Oath's their first singer came out with a new band, I was like, I'm about it. Let's try it out. Josh and I saw them at a concert out in West Texas, and they put on a killer show, and right then and there they had a fan.
we immediately went back to their table, and I bought a CD, and you bought a vinyl, and we got Dallas, and
I got them
their
to sign the
drummer at
vinyl.
time,
I
Matt
didn't
Clark
get
did
that. I
Oh,
should have
nice.
grabbed that to show you guys.
Can bring it
that's
next
cool.
week.
Yeah.
I'll bring it
fine.
next week.
We bought 2. We didn't buy the first records. That's why we can't talk about it this episode.
Oh, sorry.
So, which album was your introduction to Maylene? Was it 2 or was it 1?
For me, what introduced us to Maylene, we were at a concert, a festival, and we just looked up the band, saw who they were. It was Dallas Taylor, and we listened to it. And so that whatever they played, I think 1 and 2 were out. That was it. They had just released 2, I believe. So I couldn't tell you what they played, but I was like, I'm about it. I'm in. And when 3 and 4 came out, I bought them the day they out. I have this. I went into Best Buy and got them.
Heck yeah, dude. That's so good. So who is Maylene and the Sons of Disaster?
Let me tell you.
It's a great band name, by the way.
It's so long though. Every time you
I
have to say
know.
like, every time I have to explain like, oh, this band Maylene and the Sons of Disaster, like it's a
Right.
long name to say, but it's a good name.
But I operated under Kylan Savage and A Few Good Men for years, so like I can't.
After you were the Truth About Movie Stars, which is also
Right.
great.
I've always
No.
dug long band names. I'm here for it.
Oh yeah.
Like it bummed me out when Fear Before the March of Flames changed their name to Fear Before.
Yeah.
I'm just like, why? Like, but I get it, but Anyway, all right. Who the heck is Maylene in the Sons
So-
of Disaster?
Maylene and the Sons of Disaster, as Zach already alluded to, is the new band of, at the time, recently kicked out
He was
ex-lead
kicked
singer
out?
of
Ooh,
Under
I
Oath.
didn't know he was
yeah,
kicked out.
I'm pretty sure they kicked him out.
Interesting.
Yeah, they kicked him out and then got Spencer.
I think they discuss it on one of the labeled podcasts as it was the classic musical differences.
Mm,
Interesting.
Yeah, so probably like some band drama there, but it's like I would always read it on Wikipedia growing up, and then like the story would always change. So I'm like, all right, who can really know
Yeah.
what all happened? But yeah, he did get kicked out, and then but I mean, very quickly later, got a band signed together and signed and put out a record. They're from Birmingham, Alabama, very much of the South and all about it, as everyone knows. Their career was from 2004 to I think 2015. And then where Dallas got into a pretty bad four-wheeling accident. But he's recently got a new band together, and they're back. They played Furnace Fest last year, and they're touring, or they're not touring. They're playing shows here and there and stuff like that, but trying to, I guess, get it back together again, which is cool. Well, the members are Dallas Taylor, obviously from Under Oath, is on vocals. He's been in the band the whole time. Joshua Cornett and Columbus Collum are on guitar. Roman Haviland is on bass, and Brandon Turner is on drums. I always thought the members of Maylene were like a pretty revolving door, like almost like a Josh Goggin Chariot situation.
Right.
But in researching this, all the members of the band on this record also made 2, but on 2 they got a third guitarist. But everyone on this record is they're the same members for 1 and 2.
Okay. Cool.
But then by the time 3 came out, it was only Dallas and Roman that were in the band. And then by the time 4 came out, there's only Dallas from this record is on 4.
Oh wow, I didn't know
So,
that. That's interesting.
Oh,
So
interesting.
you can kind of see the trajectory as things kind of start to decline, but we
Yeah.
can talk about that on later episodes with more Maylene. Maylene, their first record was released October 5th, 2005, so it turns 18 this year. It's their debut record on Mono vs. Stereo, which is an imprint of Goatee Records, which has Reliant K, Deus Vale, The Showdown, Chasing Victory, other Tooth and Nail-esque bands.
Yeah. Like Tooth and Nail adjacent.
Very much so, very much so. It was produced by Jason Elgin, who produced the first 3 Maylene records, not 4, which is my... I'm like, not 4, which you can tell is kind of not great.
Hey man, some people like 4. Hey man.
There are some songs on 4 that are okay. But yeah, we'll talk about that later. It's funny, for his credits, he's produced other bands like Wayne, Haste, and I Am Terrified, but he doesn't have a ton that he's like that I can find that he's done, other than the 3 Maylene records, which sound great. So I don't know why he doesn't have some bigger records out there. And then this record didn't really chart, and some Spotify stats. It has one of their most popular songs of Caution, Dangerous Curves Ahead, according to Spotify streams, and then a couple other semi-popular ones. But I would say I think 3 is like their most popular
3,
record.
yeah.
on
3 is their most
Spotify.
like pop record.
Yeah. That's all I got.
Interesting. Okay. So, yeah, I'm curious, Joe, what was your introduction to Maylene? Was it this record or was it 2 or 3? Oh,
I will say with like, okay, so Dallas Taylor's 4-wheeler accident, he got messed up super bad. Like he lost an eye and he had an eye patch. I'm pretty positive he blew out one of his ears too. But
Yeah.
I'm just saying, for any guy to get an eye patch, of course it has to be the lead singer of a Southern metal band.
right.
Where he
it
goes,
weirdly-
it's where
He
you're like,
already
oh,
has
no.
like
Where
a
you're like-
forehead tattoo.
Exactly.
So it really works
it's like
with it.
it's like, oh, ooh, he's got an eye patch now, dude. I wish I had one eye. Like, it's like
Living
that
the
one.
American
It's
dream.
where you're like, oh no, and then you're like, dude, badass.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It weirdly makes the most sense. of,
Yeah. It's like, of course he has an eye patch now.
right.
Well, my introduction into it was their second album.
Mhm.
And I think when I saw them, it was okay. So it was a basement show. It was my first time seeing it was in a basement show. I think that place capped out at like 200 people. It was Maylene, Emery, Mayday Parade,
Weird.
and I can't remember who opened. But anyways, those were the three. And what's great is that show is very memorable to me because it was a bro weekend, because it was that show, and then the next day was Bless the Fall, I Wrestle a Bear Once, Enter Shikari, and August Burns Red. And so like I think my car got broken into that day as well, like after the show. But what was great about Maylene is literally they're just like, we're setting up the stage, and it's like, let's bring in this like old, like, what's it called? You wrap hose around it. Big old thing. And then they just threw a bunch of like nets on it and like camouflage, and you're like, this is gonna be straight up Southern for sure, in the middle of just Nebraska. It was great, and I was like, all right, I'm here for it.
I love
That's
that.
what made me a true fan to it. But then
Yeah.
I got into album 1, and that was probably by far one of their rawest albums.
Mhm.
Where like we have something to prove, and it's very like
But you
This is
said you saw them first before you listened to them.
yes.
Okay, I think that's a running theme that we're gonna notice.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, guess what?
Yeah,
I'm
I
gonna
think
break that
Emery
thing.
headlined. Emery headlined on that.
Oh, cool.
And that was like on their tour for I'm Only a Man, which people like actually don't like
Yeah,
for some
well,
reason. I've heard so many people. Anyways, this is an Emery podcast. So
Hey, we are some I'm only a man apologists for sure.
Good.
For sure.
good.
Just for the
I'm
record.
glad to be a part of that.
Yeah.
I've only known
'Cause-
one other person. Everyone else is like, the album's terrible. And I'm like,
Ah, dude, I
Yeah.
love that. I love that record. But we'll talk about that a different time. So, okay. I first listened to this record. I was first introduced to Maylene in high school. And it was right around the time I was getting into just heavier music in general. I had been listening to like Under Oath and that kind of like a little more like polished, like screamo, essentially. And I loved the Changing of the Times. And a friend told me, hey, did you know that the original lead singer of Under Oath has this other band? They're Southern metal. And I was really intrigued. I was like, what is Southern metal? And they're like, just listen to this. It'll make sense. And I have to tell you, when I first listened to this, I hated it. I hated it with a fiery, hot passion. I was like, what the fuck is this, like, redneck metal? Like, what is
You were in
this?
Arkansas. It should have made sense to you.
Yeah, but the thing is, like, okay, I used to hate country music too. Like, I've come like 180 on all of this stuff because, like, the way I was raised, it was like it was my little bit of rebellion of like, okay, I'm a little bit insecure about like being raised white trash. And it's like, no, I love Catcher in the Rye and Audrey Hepburn. And like, so, screw this like white trash redneck thing. And I was like, this sucks. I hate this.
And then you became roommates with me in
And then
college.
cut to a few years later, and I'm roommates with Josh, and he's like, hey, I want to start a Southern metal band. And I was like, well, okay. And by this point, I think 2 and even 3 had come out at this point.
Yes.
But I got like super into their second record. And then I went back and listened to this, and I freaking love this record, dude. It's so good. This is like, people called us a Maylene cover band for a very good reason, because like we did this whole like raw, dirty, like Southern thing. But I then like fully embraced my roots, and I was like, fuck yeah, Southern metal, dude. I was like all about it. But I think I actually saw Maylene in Arkansas around that time as well. I cannot remember, but I'm pretty sure I saw them at the music hall.
They put on a great show.
Oh yeah.
As much as I like detested the Southern part, I just loved metal so much that I was willing to like put up with the camo. But I was also picked on in high school by like a bunch of like redneck kids who like wore camo and, you know, like always had skull around. So I've come, well, not full circle. I've come half circle. I have like completely switched my views on Maylene, and I'm so excited to like dig into this record again. I think it's going to be like pretty rough. I think 2 is their best. 2 is like the perfect balance of like the kind of rough, like rough and tumble DIY Southern kind of thing with like some decent production. I think this one's going to be like, I think I'm going to have some problems in spots. It's going to be a little rough, but I guess I'm essentially declaring that I think it's going to be a bop.
That's what it sounds like.
So I guess we're getting
That's
to that point of
crazy.
the show. So yeah, I think it's going to be a bop. So what do you guys think? Is it going to be a flop or a bop?
When was the last time you listened to this record, Kylan?
Last year.
All right.
No. Actually, last week. I didn't listen to all of it, but I gotta say, so my daughter has been.
Right.
We've been playing this game called Mosh Pit, and
yeah.
she loves it. I will put on any sort of metal, and when she hears people screaming, she's like, "Oh, it's Mosh Pit!" And she'll she'll start at one side of the room and she'll run into me. She'll be like, mosh pit. And we just like pretend to mosh pit. And it's like, it's so good. And so I've been playing like He Is Legend and a lot of Maylene. And yeah, so my daughter likes this record too. And I think it holds up. That's where I'm at. What about you guys?
I mean, I'm definitely gonna bop this. I think about 50% of this album I actually still listen to. I have a playlist called Hard Groove, and that's just ingrained in me. So I'm like, this gets me jammed. I'm gonna vacuum hardcore in my house and just jam this, just that playlist, and literally it like Lady at the Gate. I mean, Caution Dangerous Curves Ahead is a freaking banger. But yes, 100% banger. I think. I'm going to put it right there. Granted, I haven't listened to the album in its entirety in probably, let's see, what year is it? 2023. So probably 2019, I would say.
Couple years
In its entirety. I've listened to the tracks, not the entire thing, in a while. So that's because I'm on a hard Chariot kick right now. So I can't get off of it.
There you go. All right, Zach. What is your prediction on this record
Cool.
that you brought us that you want to talk
This
about?
record that I brought on, big flop. No, it is.
That has been done before. Someone has brought us a record that they flopped or thought was going to be a flop.
I
well.
really think this is going to be a bop, but I will say, Josh, you told me to do my best and not listen to this album ever since we planned it, and it's been a number of months, around 5 or 6 months, and this is probably the longest I've ever gone since becoming a Maylene fan
Oh wow.
and not
Okay.
listening to it. I really, they are a top 3 band for me. So it's been really hard. So I will say it is 100% a biased bop.
Okay. All right. So how does this one stack up against the rest of their discography for you?
It's really hard because Caution, man, that song, that is by far my favorite song. I got a great memory of it. I'm gonna share that later on.
Oh yeah, I have a story.
But so just that one song elevates this album above it. So for me, it's probably a 2, then 1, then 3. But yeah, I could listen to that song for the rest of my life and nothing else, and I would be perfectly content.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, it's a solid track 1. Like, it gets you pumped for the rest of it. Here's the thing. If that track didn't exist on this album, would it still hold up? What do you think?
Ooh.
Good one.
Ooh.
What do you think, Josh?
Yeah.
What do I think?
It's hard.
Yeah.
It's not my favorite song on this record, so I think
Oh,
it would definitely
boy.
hold up.
Whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah,
Tune
no.
in next time.
Ooh,
No,
no.
it's the same episode, guys.
Oh, yeah,
It's
that's right.
Tune in after.
Tune in 5
Tune
minutes
in
later from now.
in 5 to 10 minutes.
No, yeah, it's not my favorite on this record. It's a great song, but there are many, many others on this record that I absolutely love because this record is a stone cold bop. So
Wow.
it's been,
okay.
oh yeah, for sure. I will say like, there's so much I could talk about with Maylene, so I'm gonna have to try to be succinct and stuff like that. But I got in with 2 because we saw them live, and we both bought 2 when we saw them in Snyder, Texas, and then I was listening to that, and then you got like 1 or something. I got that from you, and I was like, I enjoyed them a good amount. I remember listening to them a lot, but not like they weren't one of my favorite bands. But then when 3 came out for some reason, then it like clicked with me, and I was like full Maylene, which was like a month and a half before I met Kylan. So I was
This
full
all makes so
flung
much sense.
into Maylene because it was right after 3 came out. And what's funny then is like, this would be a fun topic to talk about like on Patreon, but like when a record gets you into a band, but like 3 got me real into Maylene, but then it led me into 1 and 2, and I loved 1 and 2 more than I ever had before. And then I was still like, yeah, 3's good, but it's not 1 and 2. Like, it's weird that was the album that got me really into them, but then I was like, yeah, 1 and 2 are awesome.
Right.
So,
Right.
But yeah, I don't know how long it's been for me. A while because we've been playing this episode, but I mean, I listen to Maylene every now and then. I mean, you can't go too long without listening to it. So
Oh, for sure.
it's gonna be
true.
it's an easy bop.
So I remember like getting into Maylene, and it was always, you ever like go, oh, I was into that band with these 5 or 6 other bands. And so I think about the time when like Maylene came around. I was right in that area of, Kylan, you talk about your like, I started getting into screaming music, but it was like the clean stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, this is the area I think I was starting to get into He Is Legend. And not just He Is Legend, I Am Hollywood, because, like, that's a bop. But, like, Dungeon Witch, started getting into that one.
So,
and then I started
yeah.
getting into Every Time I Die. And then I think Maylene came in at that, like, perfect area that made me go, I am ready to receive this. In a way.
That's because it was the same thing for me. Like when I first heard "Suck Out the Poison," I hated that record. I was
Yeah,
like,
same.
"Why did my favorite band ruin themselves
In
by becoming a
comparison to I Am
southern
Hollywood.
metal
Yeah,
band?"
of course.
But that's a conversation for a different time. Okay, guys, we're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, we will dive right into 2005's Maylene and the Sons of Disasters, self-titled, colloquially referred to as Maylene 1.
Wow, wow.
Hey guys, how's it going? Guys? Josh? TJ? Well, guess it's just me doing the ad this time. All right, jammers, let's get right into it. Our sponsor this week is Collide Records, of course, our favorite sponsor. So I want to talk about, just very briefly, that Collide Records honestly has one of the best collections of hardcore and metal vinyl available. When you think of vinyl, or at least when I typically think of vinyl, I think of like finding old vintage records or indie hipster alternative music. But I don't know, have you like ever listened to Norma Jean in your house on a vinyl record? It freaking rocks. And CollideRecords.com has a massive selection of incredible metal and hardcore. They've got a clear LP of Color Decay by The Devil Wears Prada. They've got Striper, of course, Norma Jean, Demon Hunter. The coolest thing that I'm finding is they have a bunch of the variants of the Guardians vinyl by August Burns Red, the album that came out in 2020. They're UK imports. They have some of them are sold out, but man, they have this limited edition Full Moon Yellow that is just like absolutely gorgeous. And it's 2 LPs because it was mastered at half speed for superior clarity and enhanced stereo imaging. That is just absolutely wild. It is brutal. It hits hard. So if you are a metalhead and you want to listen to some vinyl at your house, go to colliderecords.com, find whatever you like, and at checkout, if you type in Church Jams Now, you get 20% off your first purchase. Because guys, vinyl, it's not just for hipsters. Let's get back to the show. TJ, Josh, hello. All right, everyone, welcome back to Church Jams Now. God, yeah, I cannot help but talk in a Southern accent.
Yeah!
Bad because I'm drinking
Hell
whiskey
yeah!
too, so it's only gonna get worse.
You guys
Dude,
catch
I'll
that
tell you
NASCAR race
what.
on Sunday?
Ooh, buddy.
Ooh,
I'm
Dale.
gonna be doing this with my
Rest in
hat
peace.
the whole time. Yeah, welcome back. We've been listening to. Oh my God, I cannot stop.
We all traveled
listening.
to Alabama, and we're here
Yes.
right now, watching NASCAR, drinking some whiskey.
Oh, yeah.
and listening to some Maylene and the Sons of Disaster.
There we go.
I made a friend
couldn't-
named Alligator, and I'm fluent in squealies.
Oh my
So
God.
there you go.
So welcome back. We have spent the week listening to Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. Dude, I swear I'm not doing a bit, but I feel like I sound more Southern.
For the listeners out there, please describe what has happened to you recently, Kylan, since this is an audio-only format.
What? Oh, facially?
Yes.
Oh yeah. So like 6 minutes before we started recording, I was like, man, I really need to shave. And I was like, honestly, all day today, I was like, man, I don't know. It's always weird when we change the day of the week that we record the podcast. And I'm like, not feeling like super Southern metal today. And I was like, oh wait, I got my Miller High Life hat. And then I shaved just the chin part of my beard. So I got like a lemon chops thing going on. And I'm feeling it, brother.
It's a look.
It's something.
And
if you hear that
Joe-
clinking, I'm not drinking beer this week. I'm drinking some whiskey.
You got to get yourself some moonshine, sir.
I do indeed.
Think
And
Mama
Joe,
Maylene
look at
used
your
to brew
Joe
that.
looks like well,
Joe
I think
Dierte.
I said he looked like fat old Andrew WK. And Josh said, so
Yeah,
like current day Andrew WK.
I'll say
Yeah,
Andy WK
dude.
is older now, obviously, but he still looks pretty good, Good for him.
That's true.
I'm
The
just
party
saying,
lifestyle
having
is
a
still
wife
working for
that
me,
has like hair extensions all the time, I'm like, give me those right now, and we're good. Now I have my mullet, and I'm good to go.
I'm good to go. And guys, Zach is back too. Hey Zach.
I am here.
Acting like normal as hell compared to all of this. You got real Josh
Someone has to
energy.
play the straight man.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, ground us.
So yeah, before we get into the album, I realized I had I thought was a really funny anecdote that I found out right before we recorded our part A. And then I completely forgot because Josh was late and he screwed up our whole schedule.
It's true.
And it threw me off mentally.
Classic Josh.
But I have a story I would like to tell. Really, this is a story for Joe. Joe, I'd like to.
Oh, boy.
I'd like to take you on a little journey. So, okay,
boy.
do you know how back in the day, Joe, we used to play the game where we would try to find the Bleeding Cowboys font everywhere?
Yes, I do remember this.
Okay, so for those of you that don't know, if you just Google Bleeding Cowboys font, it is a font that is just like, I mean, starting back probably like 2010, 2011, it showed up everywhere.
Yeah, it was literally every rodeo flyer out there had this font in it.
And even things that like did not need it, it was like to the point where it became like obnoxious. Okay, I don't know. So I was looking up fonts like associated with Maylene to try to work on our album cover. And I found, this is incredible. Okay, this is like full circle, completely blew my mind. I found an interview with Guillaume Seguin, who is the creator of the Bleeding Cowboys font, in Paste magazine. This article, it says, like, as far as controversially misused fonts go, Bleeding Cowboys ranks right up there with Comic Sans and Papyrus.
Oh, boy.
But freaking listen to this. Seguin created Bleeding Cowboys in a period of his life when he was listening to a lot of heavy metal. He looked to album covers from Maylene and the Sons of Disaster for inspiration.
No way.
Pretty much all my fonts were born from a music genre, he says. I was listening to lots of bands coming from Texas, and I wanted a raw, dirty country look and feel.
No.
Yes, dude, I am serious.
Wow.
Oh
Nuts.
my gosh.
That is absolutely insane, though, right? Like, because when we were doing Del Sur, Joe and I always made fun of this font because we saw it like everywhere. Plus, it's like, what article is someone going to read
man.
about fonts that brings up Maylene and the Sons of Disaster? That is just like absolutely insane to me. And one of the coolest facts I've ever found doing research for this show. So thank you,
Wow.
Maylene.
That is crazy.
Thanks, Maylene, for Bleeding Cowboy. Oh, man, I forgot how bad this font is.
That is awesome.
Dude.
Yeah, I just thought that was wild, and I forgot to share it last week, so I had to share it at the start of this
That's
part.
so good. That's a great start to our part B.
Yeah, I thought so. So, do we want to get into the record? Do we want to do it? It's not a long record, thank God.
Yeah, dude, let's do it.
Cool. Do we have any general thoughts before we pull a Stephen Curtis Chapman and dive right in?
I just want to go on record that I appreciate that you ask.
Yeah, I figured
it's courteous. Yeah.
exactly. My
the thought
mama
that
raised me
counts.
right. I'm a good old Southern boy. You got to have manners when you bring people onto your podcast.
Onto your property and onto your podcast.
Track number 1, Caution, Dangerous Curves Ahead.
I'd like to say, what a freaking starter track for an album, though. Because, like, this whole first verse is like, it's so hard. It goes so hard.
It's a good intro, but for being like far and away the most listened to song on this record, I don't love it. It doesn't rank super high for me in terms of Maylene songs.
I'm so surprised, like, because it was like
That's a
Tough
take.
as John Jacobs was always like the most listened to from this record, but then I don't know how Caution just like flew past it. So I'm very surprised at those stats.
Do you think, because, like, did they always start their sets with Caution?
Mm-mm.
I'm trying to think where it was in the playlist. All I know is it goes super hard. And so I think it's a crowd
I want
pleaser.
to leave a story for Zach, but I know on one account for sure they ended a show with it.
Okay,
So it was a show ender, at least for some time.
that's cool.
Zach, I know you love the song. What do you want to
I do. I'm trying to let you haters get through first, and then I'm gonna raise this.
I'm not a hater. I just okay. I got just like 2 more things I got to say about
Go for it.
or 3 more things. It is really fun. Y'all know how I feel about triplet breakdowns. It's like just doing the triplets. Dun, 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 dun. Love it. But this song feels like 3 different songs, and they're all really good ideas, but they feel kind of disjointed. They don't fit together for me. And it's kind of like it's a little too all over the place for me to like get into it. I don't know why. It just didn't hold up
Interesting.
for me on this listen. I don't know. Maybe I just wasn't feeling it. But I want to hear some differing
but that's
opinions.
the point, Kylan. That's like the whole point of Southern metal is like riff. What next? I got this riff. Let's do that riff. What's next? I've been working on this one riff. Let's do that riff. And that's the point.
I know. Then you just blow your wad on like all the riffs in one song. And
I mean, I feel like I'm curious how you'll feel about the rest of this album because I feel like that's like a common theme. Is like there's just like a lot of good riffs and sections. They just like jump between them all. So
for
there's
sure.
maybe not a ton of connective tissue between all of them. So
yeah,
I wonder if that'll be a running theme for you.
we'll see. Who knows? Zach, I want to hear your opinion of this song. What are your notes? What you got?
First off, Dallas Taylor, what brought me to this band was him doing Under Oath. And the opening song, When the Sun Still Sleeps, on the Changing of Times, one of my favorite songs on that album.
Yeah.
And so for me, I'm like, Dallas Taylor knows how to do intros. But this is like, he's telling you, like, in my mind, this song, this is what Maylene is. You know what I mean? Exactly what Josh said. There's going to be this reoccurring theme of just like, hey, so what if there's 3 different kind of songs in this one song? We're just going to kind of make it flow. And so I really like it. And of course, the double bass at the end. You're a fan of Sweet, Sweet Bass, Colin? I am a fan of Sweet, Sweet double bass.
Oh,
and that is
boy,
awesome.
have I got a record for you called Maylene and the Sons of Disaster.
It's great.
Have you heard of Bleeding Cowboy? Well, buckle up. Cowboy.
Imagine if Bleeding Cowboy was a drummer.
Yeah. If Bleeding Cowboy was a drummer, it would be. I love it.
But I have a little story about this song. Josh, we were in Austin. This was the second day, right, that we were there for it, or was this first day?
We saw it was almost back-to-back shows. In July of 2009, we saw August Burns Red play headlining tour for their Constellations album, and then 2 days later at Emos, it was Maylene and Emery were co-headlining because they both had albums come out in the summer of 2009. Fun fact, that was where Emery filmed the music video for The Butcher's Mouth, was at Emos that night.
We're somewhere in that music video.
We're somewhere in there.
Oh, that's fun. Is that where cool. I may or may not have seen Paper Route?
It is assuredly where you saw Paper Route and Me Without You.
May or may not.
Me Without You? I saw Me Without You there?
Paper Route opened for the Me Without You show.
I
were direct support. Yes, we went for Me Without You, and Paper Route happened to be in direct support there.
Oh, that's great! I love it. I don't need to remember shit. I got you, buddy. That's so cool, man. I lived a cool life.
You did.
I did that? No way.
All right, that's the power of emos.
All right, Zach.
So 2 days later, we're at the Maylene Emery show.
Yeah, and this was like the 3rd or 4th time that I had seen Emery. They were coming on, and they had just released their 3rd album, so they had that intro song into 3. That was the one that they opened with, Joe. So they didn't open with this, and so
that's right.
They got through a few songs, and Josh and I were at the front, and he was like, I think I'm going to head back. And I was like, I just want them to play one song. And like, I'm just going to stay up here. I'm going to hope they do. And immediately this song starts. And I'm like, yes. And so I get up and I get on stage because it's Emos and it's a super small area. And so I get on stage and Dallas Taylor looks at me and he said, when he's saying the line, bring you to your knees, he says, bring you to your, and then he hands the mic to me and I yelled, knees. And then I jumped in the crowd and crowd surfed all the way back.
That's so rad. I love
it. It was the greatest.
I would love
ever.
I would love to share my experience of that too. I think you may be thinking of Robbie. We were there with one of my friends, Robbie. We had a big crew there.
Oh, okay.
And unfortunately, I was not up at the front. I think it was like, this is late July in Texas, and I think I may have had like some like dehydration or something going on. I was not feeling
toasty.
good. And like
It
we'd
was
gone to August Burns
toasty.
Red 2 nights before, and
Mhm.
one of like I think JB's guitar quit working because it was so hot. But anyways, like that night, I don't know, I was not feeling it. So I was like in the back, and my brother was there, and a couple other friends. So anyways, so Maylene's finishing their set with this last. They're like, we got one more song or whatever, and then they go right into Caution, and I turn to my brother and I say, this is Zach's favorite song. And I turn back to the stage, and Zach is on stage with Dallas. Dallas shoves the mic in Zach's face, and he says, knees, and then just jumps off. And I was like, I think that's the perfect ending. Like,
I love it.
I don't think
That's
that
so
could be
good.
any, that's Zach's concert highlight right there.
I crowd surfed all the way right back into like just a couple of feet of Josh and everybody.
That's so good.
And I
That's
get down,
such,
I was like, did you guys see that?
That's
Oh,
such a
we saw
movie
it.
moment. I love
It
it.
really was. It was perfect.
It was great.
It was
That's
so
so
good.
good. So all that said, I hate this song. It sucks. Let's move on. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. No.
I do want to say that they have like that 6/8 part that they go into, which like is pretty typical in metal, but it feels pretty proggy for like a southern metal song to go into 6/8. I was like, you don't hear that very often.
I think that was kind of what I was picking up on when I was saying it's like a bunch of different ideas.
Yeah, that part is a little weird. And then I did want to mention Chris Mosley from the band Haste does the clean vocals here for that
nice.
that verse. He also sings on Hell on the Rise. A lot of the guest vocals and instrumentation on this are from bands that the producer Jason Elgin also produced, like bands I never really heard of, like Haste, Mosley, Lynam. I never really heard of them, but it doesn't have a ton of production credits, but he's produced all those bands, and then they all show up on this record. So
Nice.
Makes
That's
sense.
cool.
Oh, and my last thing is that this is one of many linear song structures. There's no chorus to this song.
For sure. For sure. That seems to be something that happens a lot more than I realized in a lot of the music that we
It's
cover.
true, yeah. It's like a thing with like first albums too. I think bands were just like A to B, boom.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's that era and that time frame. If you weren't like mainstream, like doing like traditional
Mhm.
setup with the chorus and everything, it's just like, hey man, no, we're not those people. We do linear.
Yes.
Well, and Underoath
Choruses
didn't
are too mainstream.
yeah, they had just started
What it
getting
is.
into like kind of
Yes.
verse chorus format on Changing of the Times, and then they booted Dallas, and he's like,
Right.
okay.
All right. I'm not gonna do this. Which is, yeah, I had never really like thought about that, but I think that's why, like, because in Del Sur, like, we basically did like typical song structure, right?
I think we only had one that was a linear one.
Yeah.
Everything else was pretty verse chorus.
Well, it's because, like, at least when we were starting out, Josh, it was you and me writing all those songs, like,
true.
in our dorm room. And I'm like, I was showing my wife pictures of Del Sur the other day. Me with my, like, big old hipster emo glasses and, like, my skinny jeans. And you guys all look like you're in a metal band. And I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing here. Who wants to watch Garden State? And I'm just like,
I'm not a drummer, but I want to play drums.
like, and so, like, when we're writing these songs, I'm like, it needs a verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Like, it's so stupid.
That is true.
Sweet. Okay, so Zach, this is your favorite song on the album?
This is my favorite song on the album, and this
Sweet.
is my favorite Maylene song of all time.
Of all time, wow.
Of
All
all
right.
time,
Ooh.
yes.
That's pretty rad. Okay.
Yeah, I would say
So-
this is probably my top song on this whole album.
Okay.
All
well,
right.
answered my next question. So there we go. So, Josh, you'll have to let me know when we get to your favorite song. I'm
Oh, I
very
will.
excited. Okay. Let's move on to track number 2, The Road Home to Panther Creek. I love this opening riff. And it didn't really hit me till later on in the album, like, how much of the whole, like, specifically Southern metal thing is just, like, straight up, like, musically, just, like, old school heavy metal. Like, it's
Oh, yeah.
very, like, hair metal.
Yes.
Like, really simple, straightforward drums. and just those
all drop D,
big
like
riffs.
every 8th grader out there.
Yeah, drop D in a blues scale, and you're
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
take the road home
You're
to
like-
Panther Creek.
I can do this.
minor pentatonic, and then just a do da do da do da. Like
Yeah.
it's always really fun to me when metal bands scream Jesus, because 9 times out of 10 I'm not paying attention, and then it's always really, and I'm like, I'm not listening to what he's saying. I'm just like, you know, the screaming is almost just like another instrument, and then it's like Jesus. I'm like, oh, hey, I know that word.
That stands out. Yeah.
It's always very funny to me. His voice, I mean, yeah, I get why people call Delser a Maylene cover band, because
That's
his
that's what we
voice
were
and
striving for.
Joe's voice. Joe, you're like your original kind
Your
of
early
screaming
voice,
voice
yeah.
is so
Oh,
very
yeah.
much this.
Yeah, I would say this. It's very interesting because like this song after that like opening riff, like kind of lost me. I was like, nah, I don't know if this is doing it for me. I don't know if it's just because the drums are just kind of doing the same thing every single time. You ever notice he never starts on like the first beat? He always starts on like the second and third, and it's always the same cadence kind of the whole time.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like he never switches
No,
up the
he meant
cadence, so
himself
kinda
in Delser. I think
It
that's
me,
why he
yeah.
doesn't
I
like
thought you were
this
talking
song.
about the,
This
I thought you were
is
talking about the
Delser.
drummers still. I'm like, the drummers? Not
Yeah, I'm
swinging
talking
on the
about
first beat?
Kylan.
Like,
It's because this is every Delser song. That's why he doesn't like it. And I was a shitty drummer.
We all were in our prime. I'm just saying.
That's something. I love this breakdown.
yeah, no, there's. I feel like there's some memorable parts in this song. So even like the first intro riff is good, but there's some like interesting, memorable parts. That breakdown there. I will say this is another linear song structure, but there's like a lot of Maylene songs that I'm like, I've listened to Maylene so much in my life, and these songs dozens and dozens and dozens of times, and there's still a lot of the songs where I'm like, I have literally no idea what Dallas is saying here. Like, I'm like, I have no idea
Right.
what these actual words are, because
Except for
Dallas' scream a
Jesus.
lot of
Except
time
for
is
the
hard to
word
decipher.
Jesus.
Except for the
he
Jesus
does. He says in this song, he says, "Turn or burn, not the most peaceful thing." And I was like, I've literally never heard that until this week. Like, I was like, oh, interesting. Because I'm not here. I'm a vibe guy when it comes to Maylene.
Yeah,
guys.
exactly. Me too. So I was like looking up lyrics too. And it was like, yeah, the
What?
only lyric.
Kylan looking up lyrics?
I know. Wow.
No
And Josh
way.
said vibe
No
guy.
way.
So
Oh,
No,
yeah.
yeah,
Man,
bingo.
role reversal.
Where's TJ? Where's TJ?
yeah, well, Zach, you've taken Josh's place, and that usually when someone replaces Josh's like steadfastness on the show and keeping us on track, he goes off the rails in a way that is just inexplicable.
Oh yeah. Just wait, guys. Just wait. I'm only ramping it up. I was trying to make a Maylene joke, but nothing was coming.
That's so funny. Yeah, you just said, "Oh yeah."
Oh yeah, it's coming, guys. I'm just turning into Joe. Oh yeah.
No, for this episode, it's hell yeah.
Hell yeah, brother.
Damn it all to hell yeah, brother. That's what Dallas says.
I like this song. There's not like, I don't know how much in terms of like musicality or production notes that I really have on this record. Because
Yeah,
like
it's not a
Josh,
lot.
I also am very much a vibe guy when it comes to metal. I'm just like, I like it or I don't, you know?
I did just quote it, but I did always think like, because Dallas says "damn it all to hell" in this song, and I was always like, when I was in high school, I was always like, oh, this CD I got from Family Christian Bookstore. Haha, Mom and Dad, you can't
but
take it
they
away from me.
They said damn and hell in the way that like that
You do traditionally.
You can. Like
Yeah.
you can. That's like the gateway for us like sweet little Christian boys to like listen to bad words. You're like, "Oh, I can justify this." Like damn it all to hell. That's so funny. We got anything else on the road home to Panther Creek?
Nope.
Sweet. All right. Let's move on to track number 3. Bang! The Witch is Dead. This intro is so good, dude.
Oh
Yeah.
I love snare roll intros.
That is Del Sur.
That is no for sure. That is what Conspiracy of Cartographers.
Oh,
That
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
right. Like
that is that exact intro.
I think like yes, exactly. I think that's why I dug it. I was listening to it. I was like, oh man, this is really good. I love this like drum intro. I was like, oh yeah, no, that's how I like started every Del Sur song.
When I
There
first
were,
heard that song from Del Sur, from you guys, I was like, this song rocks, and I was like, it reminds me of something. And then I heard this song, I was like,
Oh, yeah.
this is why.
Oh, because it's literally this song.
There was at least one that I can think of right now, but I'm sure there were more where we would come up with something and be like, this is sweet. The original chorus to Ghost Town, we're like, yeah, this is sweet. And then I realized, like, oh, this is the bridge to not Raised by the Tide, whatever, some song on the back end of 2. And I was like, Caleb, we have to change this because this is just a Maylene song. Like, whoops. This album is real riffy.
super riffy.
Which I mean, like Maylene is a riffy band, but as they get into 2 and 3 and 4, there's like a lot of lead parts. But like most of the songs are just riffs all the time.
Yep. Just
Not a lot
real
of leads
like
going
you said,
on.
like real like hair metal, like classic heavy metal.
Yeah, this is for me. Like Dallas came to these guys and was like, "Look, I want to start a Southern rock band, and I don't really have an idea of what we want to do, but let's just make an album of like everybody's ideas. There's nothing wrong here." And that was this album. Like
Right.
they didn't really go into like what are we trying to do with it. They didn't get an idea. They're just like, we want to be Southern rock. We'll refine it
Right.
in later albums.
It's all a
I mean, it's
brainstorm
very much like a group of dudes that like grew up on like Creedence and Motley Crue. You know what I mean? Like,
We're like, what if they were the same band? Like,
yeah,
think about it. John Fogerty joins Motley Crue. Like,
I am here for it, brother.
Yeah, like let's take Leonard Skinner. Let's elevate that electric guitar.
Yeah, let's do Leonard Skinner, but tune all of our
Both
guitars down a whole step.
Metallica?
Yeah.
I will say his screaming on this song stressed me out. Like as an adult, like
Did it remind
could
you of
tell-
your dad screaming at you?
no.
Is that right? Is that why?
Yeah. It brought back lots of memories of childhood. No, because he's a really good screamer. But if you listen to his voice on this one, like it sounds like it hurts. Like he's not doing
Yeah.
it the right way. You know what I mean? Like it sounds
Yeah.
like it hurts bad.
Yeah, it's
you're right.
very raw.
Mhm.
A lot of passion.
Yeah.
I'm wondering because like it is different scream from when his Under Oath stuff. That first album he did. I'm wondering if he just like lost it and he's like, I'm trying to get it back, and this.
I don't
came
know.
out.
It even sounds different from the screaming on the rest of this record. Like especially in like that breakdown. That
Oh yeah.
Yeah, dude.
sounds like it hurts, dude. But it's so good.
I do feel
at the same time.
yeah,
Like,
it's
I love it.
it's raw, and man, I do feel like he does absolutely like you can tell he kind of loses his breath a lot because he never really reaches the end of like the
It's all
measure.
short
He just
lines,
kinda-
yeah.
he goes he just scoops it down. So I'm wondering if it was just like that's all I got. I mean, that's where you're gonna get.
yeah.
But it works for this. You know what
It
I'm
works for
saying?
this
Like
song.
it doesn't
Yeah,
work
exactly.
anywhere else.
That's funny. Well, we ready to move on to track number 4?
Oh, I'm ready.
Let's do it.
Yeah, let's do it.
Track 4, Tough as John Jacobs. Jingleheimer Schmitz.
I mean, come on. This is is this the Maylene song, guys? Like, is this, if you have to show someone the Maylene, like, is this the first song you play for them?
No, I'm gonna say that right now. I'm just gonna be honest.
All right.
No,
It's a no for me.
That's a
It
no?
used to
I
be.
feel like-
It used to be.
really,
But on this listen,
just that cowbell going.
So I love the cowbell, dude. I'm
know, it's
fucking
great.
here for the cowbell. I'm here for the
I love
tambourine.
it too.
All the drum.
Yeah.
Okay, do you remember in Del Sur in Ghost Town we had that breakdown, and I wanted to do a cowbell, but I couldn't
We just
afford
had
a
the pot of
cowbell.
rock, dude.
So
The pot
we literally
of
took
rock.
a pot, like just a pot we
Cooking
got
pot.
at Salvation Army, and I would just bang the shit out of that, and it sounded like a cowbell. I love it. I'm here for it. I love the slide guitar.
Oh, the slide is so good.
Yeah.
I hate the clean vocals on this song.
Really?
Wow. Okay.
I hate it. I don't know. Specifically the
intro or the chorus ones?
the chorus and most of the clean vocals on this, but specifically in the chorus,
Yeah.
because they repeat it so many times where he says, frustrations about to break the silence. Like, I hate it. It feels so cheesy to me. And they repeat it so many times. And it never bothered me before, but for some reason on this last listen, it bugged me. I like the breakdown, but this song needs to be like at least 10 beats per minute faster.
Oh yeah.
It's like
It felt like it was
Others have been
dragging
so
100%.
fast. This is fun to groove into, I feel like.
I don't love it. I don't love it. And I know that's like a Maylene hot take,
That is.
but
Well, it is funny because, like we've talked about, the stream count on this one is not as high as some of the other ones. Like, because at least like when they were a lot bigger and active, like I felt like this was like everyone's favorite.
Right, this
Maylene
was, like,
song.
yeah,
So maybe
this
everyone
was
else has
the
kind of
Maylene song.
experienced what you have felt, where you're like, I'm not
Maybe.
into it before as much as before.
like up into then like Step Up, I'm on it, like kind of perfected
Yeah.
what they were going for on this.
yeah,
and
this
became
is
the-
Step Up
the
is
Maylene song.
John Jacobs 2.0.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. This is what I would like to call the smoke break song, where you're just like, oh, they're playing that slow song. We've got like 5 minutes. We can go, and then we'll
Not
come back
even
and
a
it's
slow
all about.
song.
I know, but it was
Either.
that song where I was like, I just feel like I was like, nah, it's too slow.
That's the thing. I always loved this song, but for some reason, this last time I listened to it, yeah, I felt like the same way. I was just like,
Wow.
I don't know. It's like it's in that weird like liminal space between like it's not like southern rock enough and it's not metal enough, and it's like
not southern rock enough.
This is
It's got
I
slide
actually
guitar on
for
there,
me
the
I'm
solos.
the way I worded it is I was like, if they were to ever like sell out and go pop, this is what they would sound like.
You
I'm
mean
not
on Maylene
against it.
4?
If they wanted to become like an Alabama band, then they just be like,
Yeah, like if they wanted to become more mainstream, I feel like this is it. Once again, I like
You
this
mean
song a
on
lot.
Maylene 4?
Man,
They did that, guys.
But yeah, I
We
just
got
feel,
some
I
hot
also
takes
feel
all
like
around.
this one was like just so overplayed. I liked it a lot, but like Josh said, this was everybody's go-to Maylene song, and I'm like, guys, there are better songs.
I think for me it was specifically about the break in the silence just feels like super poppy to me in a way, but like the kind of pop that I don't like the kind of like
Florida
we do
Georgia
rock
Line
and roll. Like
The Wiggles does Southern rock.
I'd be here for that.
I feel like this song is like their homage to like their roots. So they're like, oh, dude, Skinner, and they're
For
like, let's
sure.
do that. And then they're
But
like,
it
then
doesn't-
we get
that's
back to
my
the hard
thing.
stuff.
Is it doesn't do enough of that, and then it doesn't do enough of the heavy stuff. It's like it's two right there in the middle for me.
Interesting.
You guys know how I feel about like mid-tempo songs too.
Yeah,
Just like,
that's true. That's so interesting because I'll say, like, I was like Zach, where it's like, yeah, there's so many other better songs. Like, this was never one that I was like, this was one of my favorites, but I was like, I couldn't deny that it was a good song. But I think now that, like, I don't know, maybe the hype for it all, and I don't just hear a ton of people talking about Tough as John Jacobs anymore. Like, going to this album, I was able to just be like, yeah, this is a really good like structure. Like, this is the first verse chorus song that we have. I like the structure of like you have that iconic intro, and then but I do like that after the first chorus they switch it up and go into a different riff for the second verse, and then they bring it back after the second chorus. So when it comes back, like that could have been an easy riff for them to just be like, after the chorus, every time we play that intro. But I feel like them saving it for between that second chorus and the bridge makes it like, yeah, that was a good call, guys. Like making you wait for it again. So, but I did find it funny that, like you were saying, kind of with the chorus doesn't really rhyme, other than the internal rhyme of mine and life. Life and silence do not rhyme. That's what it seemed
like. They tried to rhyme the sigh in silence with the other things, and then they had the rest of the word silence, and it doesn't work for me.
Look, Kylan, I don't know when you started listening to lyrics, but how about you do it for a different band?
Well, you know what? When it's like the only lyrics on the record that are sung, like that I can understand, yeah, they might stand out a little bit to me. Do better, Maylene. Do better.
Clean vocals on Tough as John Jacobs are sung by Jesse Crow, who he doesn't have another band in the liner notes that like a lot of other people do. He's just
I
Jesse
can see
Crow.
why.
He's just Jesse Crow. Must have been a friend. He's like, I can.
Interesting.
Oh, he always knew the pyro would come out in you. So.
Oh boy. Yeah, I don't know, man. I wanted to like this song a lot more. It didn't do it for me on this listen.
Guys, I'm surprised.
I know. Isn't that interesting?
It is.
Weird thing that I did as a kid when I heard this song, I was like, who is John Jacobs?
Jingleheimer Schmidt.
And I tried to Google it, and I found nothing.
Did you find that, that his name was your name too?
Yeah, right.
And whenever you go out, the people always shout.
Where is Jingleheimer Schmidt?
Exactly. He was number one.
That's what they should have called Step Up. They should have called it Jingleheimer Schmidt.
To finish it out.
Yeah.
Been waiting 2 albums for this, guys.
Yeah. Maybe their next single will be Jägermeister Schmidt. So stupid.
If they don't, we should do that.
It'll probably
it's a Smitty Weberman.
That's the next Del Sur single. Is going to be called Jägermeister Schmidt. Please, can we make a Del Sur song called Jägermeister Schmidt?
Only if it is just double bass the whole time.
The whole song. Oh yeah. Dude, yeah. Oh, dude, that'd be so good because then we could do in the breakdown. Joe can like scream like, "His name is my name too."
Yes,
his name is my name. Oh, dude, that'd be so good. I'm okay. I'm recording that tonight. We're gonna get this started. I'm gonna send you guys stems later this week. We're coming out with a new Del Sur song, guys.
Perfect.
All right,
we'll let like 3 people know.
Yeah.
And
I don't know.
I better be one of those 3.
I know Zach's the one fan we still have.
The few, the proud, the half dozen. Sweet. All right, let's move on to track number 5. Gusty Like the Wind. All right, I'm just gonna say it. This is my favorite song on the record.
Oh,
I like it.
I was scared because you didn't like the clean vocals on Toughest John Jacobs that you weren't going to be into the ones on this one.
No, I love the clean vocals on this. I got a lot to say about this song.
Oh, really?
Love this song, dude. This is
one of my faves too.
Hands down my favorite on the record.
I will say this is the song that like the chorus would get stuck in my head. Like I'd just be in the bathroom and my wife would be like in the living room. She could just hear me going, "Whoa!"
Well, I have a
from
theory.
The bathroom. It's great.
I have a theory about why this chorus is so good. But we'll get to it. This is my first sweet bass I heard on the record.
Nice.
There's places where it like actually sticks out.
I wrote that sweet double bass intro.
I wrote that too. I love how bass heavy the drums are right out of the gate.
I thought the drum production sounds really good on this record.
It really does.
Is punchy.
Yeah, and at the end, I wrote that breakdown with the double bass. I can't get enough of that. I used to just replay that breakdown all the time.
It's so good. Yeah, dude, I love this song.
I'm just saying, like, if you took the singing out, I'd be for it. but the
You don't like the
is what's
singing?
got.
Ooh.
No, I hate it. I can't.
Really?
It's where because it starts like hitting hard, and then it's like it just gets, and I'm like, no, dude, just
See, this is the kind of Maylene that I'm like into, like having the heavy, the hard hitting, but having like the melodic stuff in there. So like, as someone who got into two, this was always a song on one that I really liked.
ooh, really.
Yes, yeah, it's like so majory and fun and fast.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's a good fist pumping chorus though.
On the inside.
yeah.
Like Dallas Taylor doing that while like the bassist is like singing this. He's like getting the crowd to fist pump. That's the
Yeah.
only
Dude.
reason for it.
Yeah, dude.
I don't know if you ever went to Maylene concerts, but
Oh, 100%.
the bassist and guitarist at the concerts that Josh and I went to were going through the crowd with their like and just like playing through the crowd, and I was like,
Oh yeah.
this band rocks.
No,
yeah.
Maylene's a band I have like so many. Going into this episode, I'm like, I literally have a story from almost like every time I saw Maylene. I can't like just spend this whole episode talking about Maylene as a live band because they're one of the best.
They
So memorable.
sound so good live, and they
Oh,
put
yeah.
on a great show.
Oh, it's a show. Yeah.
So, okay, we just got to the bridge. And so here is my pet conspiracy theory that I have for this song. So we talked about in part A how Dallas essentially got like kicked out of Under Oath before they're only chasing safety. And I have a theory that before he got kicked out, Under Oath was working on a song with Dallas. And they didn't finish it. And then he took parts of that song, some like vocal parts and ideas, and put them on this Maylene record. And Under Oath took other parts of that song and put it on their Only Chasing Safety, i.e. the song It's a Dangerous Business Walking Out Your Front Door. Because there are a bunch of similarities, especially like the way he kind of phrases stuff in the verse and in the bridge. It sounds like the part running on empty and the gas is running out. Like he does that kind of thing. Yeah. The night is the night that I let love us. Like it sounds
like just the same drum hits.
And a similar kind of vocal delivery on it. And this has the super catchy chorus. And I feel like I think part of why I love it is it's like the most Under Oath song on this record.
I think it is Dangerous Business that there are videos of Dallas performing it with Under Oath when he was still in the band, that they were playing that like live before. Obviously, he was out of the band and they recorded.
I think, and whether consciously or not, I think he took some ideas from however they were originally concepting It's a Dangerous Business and transposed them onto this song.
Is there liner notes of They're Only Chasing Safety?
I mean, I do have it.
Josh got
to
really
see if
excited.
he who wrote.
I doubt that he got.
I'm very intrigued
I
with
doubt
this
he's
theory,
getting
'cause
writing
I mean,
credits
it would
on
make
there.
sense.
I bet it's just the 6 of them.
Yeah. So
That would make
I think
sense.
that's part of why I love it so much. Because the Whoa-Ohs feel like you could hear Aaron singing
Oh,
them.
for sure. Yeah.
Like it
makes a lot of
sounds like,
sense.
and it's the most like, sort of that more pop song structure. Sounds the most Under Oath-y to me.
Yeah. The clean vocals on this are done by Jacob Button of the band Lynam, who actually is a kind of like a retro 80s like hair metal band, like kind of like a Steel Panther situation.
Oh, nice.
Where they were like leaning into that. So he does like vocals, and I think he does a lot of other instruments too. He may be doing the ripping guitar solo on this as well. But he collaborated on 2 and 3 as well. So this was like his first time with Maylene. And he was never in the band, but he would like help out. And I would always like see him on credits for other bands too. And I think I would get him and David Button, the vocalist of The Showdown, confused.
Oh, that
so
makes
I was like,
sense.
which one's which? But I love this one. Got some like real sweet like guitar solo at the end, which I feel like there's not enough of on this record. There's a lot on other Maylene records, which I love, but this one doesn't have as much.
Well, it's like you said, it's very riffy, but not a lot of like solos.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're only halfway through. I feel like, whoa, my voice cracked.
Whoa!
Whoa, brother.
Because you've been screaming.
Whoa, brother. We're halfway through, man. We're getting into side B of the record. Let's move on to track number 6, The Mind of a Grimes.
Done. That's so great. I love it.
I had some dumb Elon Musk joke, but
Say it. Say
it's
it.
like I don't know. It's something like, oh, what we were all wondering
Tesla.
when she married Elon Musk, what was inside the mind of a Grimes? I don't know, something stupid. We're still in dad jams now, apparently.
Keep it.
That's good. That's good.
Okay, I just got to start off by saying the second half of this record, way better than the first half of this record for me.
Ooh.
Wow.
I think
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Yeah, I definitely got more stars on here. So yeah,
I was
definitely
worried I
understand
was
that
going to
stars.
flop the record on those first 5, just barely. But then the second half of this record kicked in, and I was like, okay, hell yeah, brother.
In the lyrics, there's like a reference to Valleydale Saints. Have you,
Yes.
Josh? Did you find anything on that?
No, I did not. I got like
All I
some
found was
church
a
in
Valleydale
Yes.
Yeah, in
Was
Birmingham,
what?
Alabama. Some church in Valleydale Church in Birmingham, Alabama, and I'm like, oh, maybe
It's probably where John
Something
Jacobs goes to church.
that's
He's the
probably where
deacon
he's
there.
at. Let's go. We gotta find.
We're in Alabama right now, guys. Let's just go down the street. Yeah.
Sweet. Yeah, I got to go pick up some more moonshine anyway, so we can take a break. And I love the like super like Pantera. This is the most like Pantera,
It
like
is,
speed
yeah.
metal
Mm,
vibe of this
Yeah.
whole song. And then when it finally does like the breakdown, it's like, oh hell yeah, you got some sweet bass because it's like breakneck speed up until then.
yeah.
Oh yeah. No, I specifically love the part at like 36 seconds where like the guitar line comes in and then
Yeah.
like the drum groove that goes in is like super cool. It's a nice, like it feels really good.
Mhm.
So I really
The
like that
only
part.
thing, I got one more drumming note, and I just say this as, you know, previously the super shitty drummer of Del Sur.
Yes.
The snare drum on the intro of this song is like so bad. I just wanted it to be better. It's not Striper level, but it's like, I don't know. I
the
just wanted it to be
tone of the
better.
drum,
Oh,
or-
yeah.
No,
Well, that's
like,
like
how he's
that
playing
era.
it feels a little so like, okay, listen.
Ooh, interesting. You think that's
That-
just all like
that
the
sucks.
bottom side of it?
That sucks.
That sounds like me when I was in percussion and band in high school. Like
That sounds like me when I was in percussion in Del Sur. Like,
It's not great.
it's just like it's
could be
not
better.
good.
be
It's
better.
not the way to start
all
the
of his
song.
skills go to that double bass. He doesn't practice on the
real.
snare. He practices the pedals.
Like it needs to either like have a couple more hits and be more of like a snare roll, or do it just like straight on like a cowbell or something. Doing it on the snare just sounds so cheesy.
Like, okay, so if the riff didn't come in, it almost sounds like like it would almost go into
Right, it's almost
Just
like
some
the beginning
polka
of like
thing.
a polka groove, yeah. Do. Like
yeah, exactly.
Maylene and the Sons of Polka.
Maylene in the schnitzers.
so besides that like 3 seconds in the intro, this song fucking rips.
Somewhere
Oh,
in
yeah.
parallel universe, Maylene was a polka band. And I want to hear that album.
Yeah.
Yeah, I gave this song 3 squealies.
I didn't know you've been ranking. Wait, you've been ranking the
Pitchforks.
songs? You haven't said.
Oh yeah, I've been
haven't
ranking
said
them by
anything.
squealies, dude. Well, you
haven't
guys
said that,
shut
Joe.
me ass.
This is
You
the
haven't
most
said that
Joe.
we're over halfway through the album, and you've been
Well-
fucking ranking them, and you haven't said anything until
Yeah.
now. And then you're just saying it like it's a normal thing that we've been used to for the last hour.
Casually. Oh yeah, 3
I think we
squealies. I
have
know.
any-
Yeah,
He's not even
well,
looking
yeah.
down.
Really is.
This
Deal with
completely
it.
normal ranking system that we're all
The other
aware
half of
right?
the album You get to get it on the Patreon, so deal with it.
How many squealies is a good squealy versus?
Is it
are
out
you
of
are you
five?
going
Okay,
for
so
less squealies or are you
Track
going
one
for more
is
squealies?
5 squealies. That's the highest one. Everything else. Okay, so first half of the album.
Just go through the songs.
It's a song.
First track,
Okay, here we
five
go.
squealies.
5 more you have to do.
Here we go.
Track 2.
Okay, Dangerous Curves, 5 squealies.
Okay.
Road Home, 0 squealies.
Oh.
Wow.
Bang Witch is Dead. I think I was gonna give it 3 ski wheelies, but
Ski wheelies.
ski wheelies, dude. Heelys. I was gonna give him some Heelys,
Oh my
but it got
God.
2 squealies. Because then got a little chuggy,
I'm just.
and then it just goes down. Hold on.
Well, yeah, of course
yeah.
it does. And what does it go down to? Jesus, I'm
It goes down to
calling
2
it right
squealies.
now. We're just ending the episode. This is going to be a lost
Done.
episode of Church Jams Now. We're never
Yeah.
releasing this nonsense.
Get the rest of it on Patreon. Let's go.
No, you keep saying that, but you're not in charge of our Patreon. 1 and 2, you haven't told us to give content to the Patreon.
Dude,
This
give it-
doesn't work
Hey.
on so many levels.
Hey, Kyle, can you give content to the Patreon?
Oh my god.
Anyways,
You make me so mad. I'm never doing a podcast with you again. How many squealies did
John Jacobs get.
John Jacobs get?
Deacon John Jacobs.
0. I hated that song. So,
0.
Wow.
Wow.
You're wrong. That's objectively wrong.
dude, I told you it was a smoke break
Not
song.
so tough as John Jacobs, man.
Yeah, for real. All right, what about track 5? Gusty like the wind.
Island's favorite.
I gave it 3 squealies.
Okay, I'll take it.
Mind of Grimes. I gave 4 squealies. I wrote
Sweet.
a big F yeah on that one.
Sweet.
Yeah, and
Well,
then we're
no,
all
that's
caught
as
up
far
now.
as we've gotten. So wait
Yeah.
to give the rest of them
He's
until we
just gonna
get to
keep going the
song.
whole record now.
I'll go. You want me to tell you?
No, I don't. What
Yeah,
else do we
okay,
have?
all right.
We're
This is the shortest song on the record. Fun fact.
That was my note, and it is like a good minute to like 2 minutes shorter than every other song. So it is significantly shorter.
Oh yeah, that speed metal.
Then why are we talking about it twice as long as anything else on
Because
this?
Joe
Because of
wanted to talk about
squealies.
his
Because you guys want to know about my squealies.
Jesus Christ. Okay, anything else about the mind of a Grimes?
The review of the song is longer than the song itself.
That happens very.
Hey,
often
welcome
on
to
this
Church
show.
Jams Now.
Yeah.
Woo!
All right, let's move on to track number 7. Lady at the Gate.
Lady Grimes at the gate.
Lady Grimes at the Gate. This is the best opening riff, I think, on the record.
I think.
Oh
you're
yeah.
right.
This does what I think this is what they were trying to do with Caution, Dangerous Curves Ahead, but I think they do it better on here, and it's a bummer that it's like buried so far in the record.
Of what?
Yeah.
Of like lots of riffs that do form a song.
Yeah, and just that kind of upbeat, like energetic kind of album opener thing.
I like that it's in the back half of the record, though. You know,
I do simply
Like,
because
keep the energy going.
I enjoy as a chunk the back half of the record so much more than the front half.
Oh, but this cackle right
Yes, I was gonna say the
Yeah.
laugh is my favorite part of the song.
I always love when Dallas laughs, like in Darkest of Kin and in this
Yes.
song. Every time he laughs, it's a good time.
Yeah, so good. I'm all about.
Yeah, because he
I
sounds
love
like
when
an
they go
old
halftime
like
within this.
Civil War sergeant who's like drunk on whiskey and haunting you, laughing at you. Like that's why it's so
That
great.
is
Like
the
with
vibe.
his
He's
eye
definitely a
patch, he's
character
like-
in Red Dead Redemption. for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly. Yes.
Yes. Oh man.
Yeah, this is a great song, man. This is my second favorite.
How many squealies, Joe?
I gave it 4 squealies. Wow. I think I gave 4 squealies because I do like the kind of. I'm a peaks and valley guys with songs. Like you can't just go like ha 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 really high all the time. You got to give me some ebbs and flows, and the songs feels that. I feel it.
Interesting.
Now, this is one I feel like I never like. Not that I didn't pay attention to, because a lot of this record I just kind of put on and you let it kind of just happen. 'cause
Right.
It all flows together really well.
It's like it's the perfect record to like either drive to or like work on your Trans Am in the garage. Like you don't need to pay attention
Yes.
to it. You know what I mean? It's like you also got the race on in the background.
Oh yeah.
And you're just there, you know, you're gonna work on your Chevette and put on some Maylene in the background, you know, drink a couple Miller High Lifes and just have a good old time.
Oh yeah, but this is like giving this album a critical listen. This was one that I was like, yeah, this one is kind of a hidden gem on the record of track 7, and I always knew it as like the really fun intro song, but the rest of the song is just as good. It's great.
I think so. Yeah, it's my second favorite.
Allie gives this 5 squealies.
5 squealies.
Yes.
Sweet. We got anything else for Lady at the Gate?
Oh, I did like that has some memorable lyrics on here of compliments of the Red Letter King. And I like the part where he sings, "I'm the hypocrite you wrote about." Once again, I don't really know what the song is about, but there are some good lines in here that I like. That's a fun line to sing and to say.
Yeah.
I don't have much to offer as far as lyrical analysis other than that's cool. I like that.
Well, we don't have TJ here, so we
That's
can
true.
we can just be like, I don't know what it means. Just sounds fucking rad. We don't have to justify
That's the point.
why we think it's cool.
It's Southern metal.
Cut
There
that.
is no point to the lyrics.
Exactly. All right, guys, let's move on to track number 8, Never Stop Haunting.
Another good intro.
This is very like Rat
And it's not so fast right in the beginning.
or Motley
It's
Crue. This is like very hair metal, like Twisted
Yeah.
Sister or something.
You're not wrong.
I don't have any notes on this.
This
song.
is the longest song on the record at 4 minutes
I
and
get
23 seconds.
The build at 1 minute and 52 seconds. Where is that? That got me.
Yes.
I wrote, ooh, good feelings. And then there was a groove at 2 minutes, 36 seconds. It says, it got me grooving and I got a stank face. Like I was like,
Yeah. Well, it's because like it is like kind of mid tempo, but it's got that weird sort of like claustrophobic kind of feeling, like especially with that riff when they do those breakdowns that that like kind of puts you on edge and like keeps you wanting to listen. At least for me.
Well, yeah. Well, and then the whole like second half of the song, like at 1:35 or whatever, like the guitar kind of changes the song and it kind of takes that from there on out. And I feel like it's like, yeah, that part like ramps up the whole rest of the song. You could almost honestly like cut the first half out. It could be its own thing. And then the second half could just be like, but this is where like things start to really get good for me. And there's a lot of great guitar parts. Like the part at 2 minutes and 51 seconds, like that guitar part, there's not like a ton of like super like memorable guitar parts as compared to like on 2, but at 2 minutes and 51 seconds, that part, like I love that part where it like just breaks and you have like the guitar like using the trem arm to bend down and like the kind of like faux solos.
yeah.
It's one of my faves.
I just imagine for the second half of the song, some guy just gets cymbals and is just doing this the whole time. And I'm there for it. I love it. I know it's just so heavy on those cymbals in the second half, and I'm just like, yes, I love it.
Yeah, I think what that first part of the song really has that 80s groove to it, which like I grew up on just like Garth Brooks. I don't have any 80s bands in my blood, and so it doesn't really do anything for me. 2 squealies!
Oh, two
Oh,
squeals.
brutal.
All the guitar work at the end of the song.
I know, it's great. That's why it gets 2 squealies.
Oh, the guitar
But
work
there's
at
like
two.
a whole half of the song that I'm like,
That's true. It is a long song.
I did write that because Joe is back on this episode that it kind of is like a Bless the Martyr situation where you wait the whole song for like one part to happen.
yeah.
Where you're Like bringing it up to a gunfight. This is that part of the song where like you're waiting the whole song for that guitar break. You're like, yeah, wasting away for a while. It's a
Yeah,
good
dude.
groove at the end though.
It is. It's so stank face. Like you're
It
just
is.
like, ooh.
But not 3 squeal stink face.
Not
3
Ooh,
squeals.
man, that's a
It might
That's a
get
hot
3
take, man.
Heelys, but only 2 squeals. Why did I do that? Why did I do
Yeah,
that for
just like-
2?
I saw that.
One, I never do 3 like this. I do 3 like this. I did 3 with my pinky, and then for 2, I put down my pinky. That's weird as hell. I gotta stop drinking whiskey. All right, let's move on to track number 9, "Hell on the Rise."
Dressed like angels, just off the medicine show, with flag marks, fighting sunshine, pretty blue.
Another great, like
Side B.
Like,
man.
once again, it feels like-
Side B of this record.
This feels like there's a parallel to side A of doing just like the toms like that and real riffy kind of intro, but I feel like it does it better, except that I hate the chorus.
Yeah, I was just about to ask you about that chorus.
It's not a
It
chorus.
comes in so early,
A hook.
and I'm
It's
like, I
just like a
literally
verse,
put 30
yeah.
seconds in, and why did we need this?
Nah, you're wrong.
I'm gonna do a hot take here.
All right,
Hot
please
take
do a
from
hot
Zach.
take.
Go for it.
This is my least favorite song on the album.
Wow, Josh is mad. He's fuming. You can't tell at home, but I can tell from his body language. Those are fighting words. Like, Zach, you're not coming to the family reunion after that.
I don't consider the next song. I consider that an outro. I don't consider it a real song. So this one is my least favorite. I'm glad it's the last song. I've been waiting to say it because side A is by far my favorite rather than side B.
Ooh.
But yeah, once again though, I'm not saying I don't like this song. Great song. It's definitely enjoyable, but it's if this didn't happen, I'd be okay with
You'd
it.
be okay. Yeah.
I'd be okay with it.
let
get
me tell you why you're wrong here, Zach.
Is it kind of like Zach? Is it kind of like The Irishman by Martin Scorsese? It's like, yeah, it's a good movie, but like I would also be fine just watching every other Scorsese movie. Like we don't need it at this point.
Yeah.
I'm not upset about it.
Right, but
you
like
know,
it's
good.
do we
It's not
need
bad.
to do this for 3
It
hours?
it didn't
Yeah.
hurt their reputation.
It's not
at
bad,
all.
but
Right.
like, it's not good.
All right,
Okay.
Josh, tell
All
us,
right.
school us, take us to church.
All right, yeah.
I would like to say that I think this is my favorite song on the record.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, Zach
Whoa!
For
I'm between
sure.
this and Gusty
Not
Like
coming-
the Wind, but I love this one. Like, you get that it's not even a chorus, but like the clean vocals that come in the beginning. Like, I love that it's just like one time and it's fun. It's the same guy who sang the clean vocals on Caution. And then you get the kind of like the breakdown where he just
That
cleans
bridge part, that-
again. Yeah. And
Yeah,
like this song
that's
has
really
a lot
cool.
of really good parts, you know? And actually it does have a verse chorus structure because Dallas is singing the chorus, which is just funny. He really does like bite into the wishing for wings kind of like
The old Civil War captain.
yeah, he really enunciates real hard on that part. So I did notice that, but it just has a lot of really great parts. It's got some great guitar work, but especially how Dallas also does this like that's wild.
Yeah,
like
that's
super like Axl Rose.
Yeah.
It's
That's
like a
fun.
very like Welcome to the Jungle.
That's super fun.
Very
thing.
much so. But like the whole end of this song is like a huge crescendo that like I feel like this is like the perfect placement in the record for it too, because you're bringing it down for the next song. So this is like the penultimate, like you're bringing like the whole last
Right.
minute is just a big, awesome, satisfying crescendo, and I really like it.
I'm with you there, Josh. The clean vocals just didn't do it for me. Like in the beginning of the song,
That first
they were
part.
like they worked on the other song, but they're a little too pop punk for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, the end of this song is just like so good.
Oh yeah. Well,
I'm
it
right
is
there
interesting that like all the clean vocals on this record are other people, but like
Right.
when you get into 2, so Dallas is obviously developing his voice because when you get into 2, he's doing the cleans, and definitely on
Right.
3, like they even do Listen Close where it's all clean.
Mm-hmm.
So like you can tell on this record he's not fully like either
He's not
confident
comfortable doing
or
it, yeah.
like couldn't do it really to the level that they wanted to do it at. So I do think
true.
that if maybe he was a little bit more developed and he was doing those parts or something like that, then they would land a little bit better. I do
true.
concede.
It's true.
Well, I do want to say, like I said, it's not that I'm upset about the song. I still like this song. Like everything gets an A+ grade in my book. This is like an A-. You know, everything else in my head is so much better. But I'm never disappointed to hear this song.
If this record was pizza,
Like if
it'd still be
the
pizza.
Irishman was playing in the background at like in a waiting room, you wouldn't be mad about it.
Kylan, I haven't seen The Irishman.
That's
so
fine. I'm pushing this Irishman narrative like really hard.
Are they today's sponsor?
This episode brought to you by Netflix, by the Netflix original film, The Irishman. Came out 4 years ago or some shit.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we have one more song. We're here at the end, and all I gotta say is, all we've been trying to do on this episode, we just wanted to make Mother proud. And I hope we did that with track number 10. Just wanted to make Mother proud.
Oh, shoot, dang. Josh, do you remember Dallas Taylor had a solo project that was just piano and like that slower stuff? Do you remember? I can't remember what it was called. It was something.
Jack's Mannequin. Sorry.
It was the Rocket Summer. That's what it was.
The Rockets.
This really has that kind of vibe to it, which is really nice. And like, what's really beautiful about this is it's like, hey, origin story of Mama Maylene.
Do you guys want to hear my hottest take on this whole record?
Yeah, go for it.
This should have been the album opener.
So I think I was just thinking that too.
Yeah.
But I was like, if it was half,
Right. Yeah, you cut it in half.
The length. And it was
before
like
the big part before the big build happens.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I know that it's like completely antithetical to everything I ever say on this podcast. Of like it's slow, it's like it doesn't open an album well. I think for this record, I think what this does is it sort of retroactively makes it feel like almost like a concept album. And I think the whole album would have benefited from having this context at the very beginning of it's like, this is like super Lynyrd Skynyrd ballad, like beginning of Freebird.
Oh, it's Simple Man. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It is very much Simple Man. I'm here for more fiddle in always need more.
Yes, dude.
But I think too, as a band that's like in a lot of ways sort of a pioneer in Southern metal, or our modern understanding of Southern metal. Sure. Because obviously, you have Pantera and stuff, but in this iteration of what Southern metal is, I think doing something like this that has it's got banjo, it's got the super old school, like I said, Skynyrd guitar, fiddle, all that kind of stuff, and the sort of monologue about Mother Maylene and all this stuff. If you have this at the beginning of the record, man, I think it just opens up the rest of the record for what you're going to get into.
So would you just keep this current track list but shift 10 to 1 and then slide everything down?
No, I think I have an alternate track list. I'd have to think about it. Maybe we'll just post it on our Spotify. I haven't thought about it enough to speak to it.
So I could really see that if you cut the length of that into half and have a build happen and it goes into that of cautious and dangerous curves.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that'd be so cool.
Oh, yeah, that could work.
Dude. I think it'd be a great album opener.
I will say the one thing that sucks is it was they did this on the end, and then everyone loved it, and they're like, well, now we have to do that on every record. So they did it on 2 and 3, and it was like, did we really need those? Why can't you just do it once and be done? Or just do something different?
Yeah,
just
this
try
is
it.
my favorite of those. Of this is better than what
yeah.
they do on 2 and 3.
Ooh, interesting.
I am on a different planet than you guys. Oh man, I think I'm the problem here because I said I don't consider this a song. This is definitely an outro, and it should definitely be on 3 and 4. Put it on those ones. I don't need to hear it on this one. I'm not here for it, but I'm glad you guys are. I'm glad you guys enjoy it.
Zero squealies from Zach.
So
Yeah,
what
how
you're
many
saying
squeals
is-
did Joe?
This one's gonna get like 10 from Joe.
Right.
Like this is my
I was
favorite
that
song on the
guy,
album.
that slow song on They're Only Chasing Safety that I was like, yeah, that song. That's a song. And what you're saying, Zach, is you're like, I could have done without that.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Do you
Well,
think, so going back to the Maylene and like They're Only Chasing Safety thing, do you think Dallas was like, oh, we got to do a slow song? And then Under Oath's like, we had this idea about doing a slow song, and they both did it.
Maybe, man.
It was
Maybe.
connection. Who
We'll have
knows?
to
They were all
ask,
like 14 then anyway, so.
We'll have to ask John Dunn when he's back
Yeah.
on the show.
Exactly. Aaron Marsh actually wrote that first part and gave it to Under Oath. So that's why. It
Oh,
sounds like
really?
the Copeland song, yeah. Because Aaron Marsh is singing the whole first 2 verses or whatever.
That's cool.
Some will seek forgiveness.
That makes sense. That sounds exactly like it.
Well, guys, that has nothing to do with this band,
It's
Maylene.
true. It's true.
So-
I did just want to say that I do like the line, I reach down and reload my ticket home. That's a good line.
That is
Yeah,
really
dude.
good. That
It's
is
really good. But
Well,
yeah,
man, what an amazing Delser album. That was great. guys. Thanks for going through that with me.
Yeah, this has been Delser Jams Now. I think since it's not like on Spotify or anything, I do want to say for anyone that is like listening to this episode that like wants to know what the hell we're talking about with Delser, I think we'll link it in the episode description. But
I think
of the
I'll-
South,
I think I'm gonna put Ghost Town as the outro song for this episode.
hell yeah, dude. And yeah, if you go to ofthesouth.bandcamp.com, we got all of the shit we did with Delser.
Yeah, dude.
For free, dude. It's for free. Just it's
I think we also have
whatever you
MySpace
want.
as well.
Yeah.
MySpace still up.
It is. I checked it,
It
out
is?
recently.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Okay, guys, we need to know Maylene and the Sons of Disaster, their first record. Is this a flop or a bop? We'll start with Zach because we basically
Yeah,
don't
our
even
guest.
need to.
I am going to say this is 100% still a bop. I listen to it every year. I love it. Can't get enough of it. Solid Southern metal album. Anybody that wants like, what is Southern metal? Listen.
Put this on.
In my eyes, the first 5 songs, but I guess everybody else's eyes, the last 5 songs.
Hey, we all hail from different parts of the South, baby.
Hot dog.
All right.
Jesus, Josh and I are supposed to talk about the National after this. I don't know how I'm going to manage that.
I know how we're gonna.
Okay, let's have Joe go next, and then it'll be between you and me, and we'll rock paper scissors.
Dude.
it. I don't know.
Hot dog. All right. Well, this album surprised me. That's all I have to say.
No, it's objectively not all you have to say. You have more to
That-
say after that.
That's it.
What do you, he just logs off? That's just the end of Joe on the podcast.
We need to know as an album as a whole, how many squealies is this getting?
That's true.
Ooh.
Wait, no, don't act like it's not something you think about. Like, look at your
Dude, it's
notes.
tough.
You wrote
It's tough.
notes.
Well,
what do you mean
I don't
it's
have-
tough? You wrote it down. You
Not for
already
the
wrote
whole
it down.
album.
You
For each
just
song,
referenced-
yes. Each song, yes. Not the whole
Yeah,
album.
so you just add those up. You don't
Oh.
think about it.
No, the sum of the whole is greater than the parts, Kylan.
yeah.
Oh my god. Oh, this is so funny.
Out of
Two
50 possible
squealies.
squealies,
Yeah.
Oh, geez. 5, 6, 7.
See, this is what
9,
you
10,
should have been
11,
doing from the beginning. You should have been
16.
counting. You need to look down. You were looking up.
Well, because I was going to rate
Which is
it
what
out
was
of 5
concerning to
scale of
me.
5. Dude, whatever, dude. Don't act like you know what I'm thinking.
I don't.
I can rate things however I want. Okay,
That's
that's
very
what my
true.
mama said.
All right, 16
Okay.
squealies out of
All right.
50? Is that what we
Ooh.
said?
That is rough.
1, 2, 3. Yes. Yes.
Well, Zach made
What?
up the 50 squealies thing, so I don't know if that's.
It's five. It's five per
10,
song.
10? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Not
So
looking good.
I listened to this album like 3 times. Once in the car, once in headphones, and then once just like in the living room. First bit, nostalgia hit super hard, and I was like, yes, I love this album. My 2 other like go-arounds, like I ran into stuff like overall on the album that I was like, ooh, like Dallas's scream can get really kind of mundane because he kind of does the same thing on all the things. Guitars didn't hit that hard. I don't know if that's just like a drop D thing or what. Lyrically, not hitting it for me in spots. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. In spots, yes. Good songs. Like there was good songs, but as a whole album together, I don't know. It didn't hit it. What would happen though is I would listen to this album and it would like get to the end of the album and I'd be like, great. And then it would move on to something else and I would be like, it'd be hitting me. It'd be hitting me in my heart and I'd be like, yes. And then I go, why is this hitting me more than what I just listened to? And it'd be like, it would jump into like Every Time I Die, Norma Jean, and like Dead and Divine, and like kind of like the Bled in that area.
So do you think it's specifically like the Southern thing, or do you think it's specifically like the first record kind of
I think
thing?
it's the first record because like I think they got a little more dynamic in 2 and 3, not necessarily 3, but definitely in 2. I could definitely bop 2 super hard. I don't know if it's just the album 1. Man, I don't know. Here's a hot take: is like Southern metal the ska of metal? Just walk with me on this. Just walk with me on this. So like
I see
Maylene,
it, actually, I see it.
Yeah, I know. I'm here.
you
for
know,
it.
ska. Everyone's like, "Beep, beep, beep," you're like, this is fun. But then you like, it's a doorway, and it fades away. It had its time, and they're like, I'll be back. And then you go listen to some other stuff because you grew up, and you're like, man, this is so good. And then Real Big Fish comes back at you, and you're like, dude, this is great. I gotta go hug my
and
kids.
ska
now.
and southern metal are also like very limiting genre wise. Like with southern metal, you can really only use the blues scale and your drop
Right.
D a lot, which is gonna make a lot of your songs sound the same kind of thing.
So, do you think Maylene is the doorway to Eated or Norma Jean, where
Is it
it's like the
doorway
more harder
into
stuff?
You giving a flopper a bop on this record?
Josh is over your bullshit. He needs an answer now.
I also think it's not fair for you to like listen to the whole record and be like, so like, but then you hear one song and you're like, yeah, because I'm like, I feel like that would have happened if you listened to a whole Eated record and then Maylene, a song from Maylene would come and you'd be like, yeah,
but like
one song.
Okay, so
that's
here's the
easy to
thing: if
get
I take
into.
the 3 songs that I have, 4 squealies and 5 squealies, so like the 3 songs, I take those off of this album, right? Does it still hold? I don't think so. So if I take those 3
I
songs,
get
I'm
it.
like, yes, these 3 songs are great. The rest of the album, I don't know.
You gave it 16 out of 50. Just say it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
yeah,
gonna flop.
yeah. This is
I'm
like
just saying, I don't think it
prolonging a
holds up.
breakup.
That's deep,
Yes.
man. Just
I don't think it holds up today. That's what I say. I think it served its purpose.
But you would for sure bop 2, but this one fell a little short.
Yes. I don't think it was hard enough. It's that area you talk about, Kylan, where it's like it's either too soft in this area or too hard in
Right.
this area.
It's in the, yeah,
And it
I
just
get
kinda
that,
goes-
dude. I 100% get that. Okay.
So you're on the record for an official flop, Joe, right?
Yes. Ouch.
Ooh.
I'm sorry.
Ooh,
Hurts to say
Wow.
it.
I'm
man.
sorry.
That's going to
he
be
was
Dallas
in a
Taylor.
band based off of this band, and he's like,
yeah, I know.
Yeah. I don't know. Did I just grow up and get a
Tomorrow we're
mortgage?
going to see in dailymail.co.uk lead singer of Del Sur fucking hates Maylene.
Called
episodes of
called
Dazzle.
Maylene
Starts
the
beef with
ska
Dallas
of
Taylor.
metal.
Vocalist says.
regrets his past.
Yeah. Dallas, if you're listening to this, I'm sorry.
No, I get it, dude. I get it. I get everything that you're saying in terms of it. There is quite a bit of this record that, like, on critical listen, did not work for me the way that I was hoping that it would. And like you, I would 100%, no doubt about it, bop Maylene 2. And this one has a lot of that like first record thing that we've talked about quite a bit on this show of like trying to figure out exactly what they are. Some things could maybe be like trimmed down a little bit, like some of that fat could kind of be trimmed down. You could get a little more an idea of who you are as a band, but you can't get to that point until you do a record like this. All that being said, I also listened to this record 3 times. Though I enjoyed the second half more than the first half, the first half had enough sweet riffs for me that I am actually going to bop this record.
Yeah. Look at this guy.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's one of those like, it's not a very like, I don't know, it was hard to do like a very critical listen of this because I
For
think
sure.
the whole thing of like Josh was saying, like Southern metal is like a very limiting genre. It's like you have to kind of know what you're getting into. And so a lot of the songs kind of sounded the same, but the thing is I like that sound. You know what I mean? Like so for me, my biggest thing is like do I think within the next year I'm going to find myself listening to this record again? 100% yes, simply because like I said before, playing Mosh Pit with my daughter, this is a great record to just like throw on where she thinks monsters are singing, but it's like Southern, it's real heavy. There's like enough really fun breakdowns. I think it's far from Maylene's best, but you know, for me, it's less like The Irishman and it's more like like After Hours or some other minor Scorsese where
I
you
get
know it's
that.
like I'll still throw that on a couple times a year, you know. So
These Mean Streets where
You're gonna
really
throw
getting
on
into
The
it, but it's
Irishman
not to-
multiple
no, it's
times a
not
year?
like The Irishman. It's like After Hours or yeah, like Mean
Okay.
Streets.
It's Mean
It's
Streets.
like
It's
yeah,
not quite to Taxi Driver or Raging Bull yet, but
Right.
he's got the starting point.
Goodfellas did it better, but like you got to watch Mean Streets to like appreciate Goodfellas even more.
What's Maylene for? Is that what's the Jack Nicholson Leo one? The 2006 or whatever.
The Departed?
Departed. Yeah, is that Maylene 4?
Oh yes.
No, because I love that. I actually, dude, that's so
The
weird.
Departed
I watched
is good.
The Departed
You don't
last
like
night.
The Departed?
No, it's like
no, I
it's-
know a lot of people
Okay,
don't
that's
like
where
it.
this is coming from.
I love The Departed. That's so weird that I watched that last night, and that's what you bring. Maybe that's why I'm thinking
That's
of
why
the
you're thinking
Scorsese thing.
Scorsese,
Yeah.
yeah.
No, it's like Silence, the Andrew Garfield one, where it's like all about the
Liam
Catholic
Neeson, right?
preachers
Yeah.
that like no one watched, or it's like The Devil in the White City, which he's been trying to get made for 10 years, and no one wants to buy it.
Ooh.
Sorry, well, this has been Scorsese Jams now. Yeah, so I'm a bop. What about you, Josh?
All right. Whew. Well, I'm happy to say this is a bop. It's just got good vibes, you know? Like, this was hard to do critical listens on because, like, I feel like this is an album that, like, I don't know. We have this a lot for, like, bands or, like, our albums that we really love. And it's, like, they just, like, critically, it's hard to, like, I had to listen to a lot of times to try to get some good notes. But it's, like, it's the vibe that you're into. And, like, it has a good energy. And, like, I don't know. I feel like it's pretty common for bands, like, to have one album that, like, they really like perfect and hone their craft on. Like, that's 2 for Maylene. I feel like 2 they found it and whatnot, but like 1 still has like the vibe and like the Chariot. Like, I think Long Live is technically like has the better songs, but like Wars has a great like vibe and feel to it, and like The War on Drugs, Lost in the Dream has a great vibe, but like the songs on A Deeper Understanding are way better. But it's like that's still enough for me to really like this record, and like I have such good memories of it, and like it's just fun. So critically, it was hard to be like, these are my talking points, but it's just fun. You just throw it on and you enjoy it and you play mosh pit.
Yeah, exactly. All right, so we got 3 bops and a flop, a fully understandable flop from my perspective, Joe. I will say that.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Because I'm right on that line. So I think
But you got to shut your brain off, and you're like, okay, I can listen to it now.
Yeah, like, well, that's what I think we've got the whole spectrum here, like from Zach to Joe. I think Josh and I are kind of like in between on that. So if we were to compare this to Martin Scorsese's filmography, No. All right. I got to stop drinking whiskey or I just want to talk about movies all day. Okay. I think we did it. I don't think there's anything else we need to talk about. I think we've...
We never mentioned the hidden track, Josh. I expected it to come up at some
we
point.
can talk
about that for a second because, well, okay, this is why, for the record, why I was like on the fence of talking about the song "Is That a Threat or a Promise," which showed up in 2007 on the Day the Hell Broke Loose at Sacred Hollow EP, which preceded 2. And I don't totally know that it was around for this recording session. I know when they repressed the vinyl a couple of years back, it is included on the vinyl as a bonus track, which I have. And I think it's great. But I feel like it's like the perfect in-between song between 1 and 2 because I feel like you get the best of both of those. Like you really feel that it is a transition song. So I don't think it is properly on, was around for the recording session for 1, which is why we didn't totally talk about it. So, but I do love that song. That's a top 10 Maylene song for me, I would say.
Interesting. So you would say it's like, it's comparable to like American Boy, the Martin Scorsese short film that he did in 1978.
Yes.
That was...
I actually was going to say it's like the I've got 10 friends in a crowbar that says you ain't going to do jack, which is like post They're Only Chasing Safety and pre-Define the Great Line, where you can tell like, oh, Spencer's using his more regular voice, but it still sounds like Chasing Safety. So it's one of those situations.
Cool. I think that's all we need to say about it.
That's all.
I'm done talking. Bye, guys. Okay, so as we're wrapping this up, once again, Joe, thank you so much for filling in for TJ. He was very obviously very missed on this episode, but I'm so glad that you could jump in and take over the philosophical, intellectual part of the discussion.
With squealies.
With your squealies.
Good. It's a very TJ move.
And Zach, thank you so much for coming on, man, and bringing us this record. Is there anything you guys want to like promote or talk about or plug or anything before we say au revoir?
I'd like to say, Dallas, I'm sorry, I flopped it. If you're in town,
I'm gonna let him know because
see
Dallas
you guys.
and I are Facebook friends. Did y'all know that?
Dude, I knew that. I don't know why, but I knew that.
You don't want to talk about Yeti or Lucha or?
Oh,
anything?
Lucha has a
That's
song
fine.
coming out in June, but I don't need to talk about that right now.
Okay. That's fine. Zach, what about you? Do you want anyone to follow you online or do anything, or do you want everyone to leave you alone?
I am off of social media. Me and
Cool.
Maylene 4 will just be chilling over here, getting listened to.
With all the squealies in the world.
We're just gonna...
The squealies are off the charts on Maylene.
Maylene 4 is their worst album. I will concur to that, but it doesn't deserve the hate that you guys put on it, all right?
We're just gonna...
I still, every year or so, try to
give it a
try
chance.
to enjoy it. Allie
I've
does
tried
the same
to.
as well. Like we like try like, okay, maybe like this is the year that I finally like enjoy it. And it does have some good
And
songs.
it never is.
It has some good songs, but for the most part.
I have a best of Maylene playlist, and 3 songs from 4 are on there. And you know what? How many are on there from 3? 3 songs from 3 are on there. So,
Well, you've completely
You know?
disqualified yourself in all of your opinions. on this
I'm the
podcast,
guest.
so-
Yes,
I'm the
but-
guest. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you
promise.
were, but like I said, this is a lost episode. This ain't ever coming out, especially after that. Cool. All right, guys. Well, for all of our listeners, check us out on social media, Church Jams Now. If you like this, God help you. We have more stuff on our Patreon at patreon.com/churchjamsnowpodcast. And from all of us here at CJN headquarters, may all your favorite bands stay together and peace out, Monfreres.
Woo! Oh, yeah!
So we're going to do this till the cows come home.
Hey! Sick reference, bro.